Alright, so everybody can hear me okay? We're good? Alright, cool. I'll speak a little louder because I don't like catching me. So, my name is Chris Roberts. Today we're talking about Fedora badges. It's a two-part talk. I'm going to go over the back end and the more techie stuff, and Maria's going to go over more of the design stuff, or Marie. Is going to go over the design stuff, and how the badges actually go through. So, the Fedora badge system relies on FedMessage. And basically what FedMessage is it ties all the Fedora components into, they all talk to each other. So if I create an edit on the wiki, or I push it to the Git repo, that will come back and it will relay back to, it will show it in IRC. And it will basically, if that item that I did qualifies for a badge, it will actually attach it. It will say, okay, to the badge system, give me a badge. So, So, just a little bit about me real quick. I've been with Fedora since mid-F18 came out. My dad's name is Chris Roberts. The easiest way to get a hold of me is C. Roberts at C. Roberts. Really easy to remember. And there's my contact information. So, prefer texting or email over that, but it's the quickest way. So what we're going to cover, like I said, this is going to be a two-part presentation. So I'm going to be covering the back-end headbus part, and Marie's going to be covering the actual badges and how they're developed from inception all the way through. So, like I said, Fedbus is some of you familiar with it, or at least heard the name before? Okay, so we've got a few. So basically, we're going to show it in action. So I actually had Ralph Bean, he actually is a major contributor in the Fedora badges. I had him revoke one of my badges, and I'm going to request try to get the vacation badge from the Fedora wiki. So I'm going to do that, and we're going to watch it in real-time action. So you guys can actually see the technical side of where the badges actually come into play. So right now, we can actually look at FedMessage. So I pulled it up, and as you can see, it's pretty active right now. We've got people pushing to Git repos. We've got people building all sorts of stuff. So it's constantly going on. I mean, it's been up for a few minutes now, and it's very active. So I have to go back through and you can actually just go through here and see the details of this. So we'll click on Peter Robinson's build. So you can actually see everything in FedMessage that gets translated through. So this also has a counterpart in IRC. So these same messages appear in IRC, but we have the web UI, so it's a little bit easier to kind of decipher if you're, like the IRC version, but same thing, so you can still click on the details at the bottom there. We'll take a look at Peter Robinson. So, I may have not clicked on the same one, but you can view them through IRC or the web UI. So what I'm going to do is going to go ahead and edit that wiki page. So the Fedora badges, it actually has any of you ever been to the actual website for the Fedora badges? Okay, so you can search them by the username, you can search them by the badge tag, or you can actually search it by the badge name. So, for me, I'm kind of like a competitive person, so I use the badge site to kind of see how many badges I can get. I actually like to go see in the badge track. You can actually see what the criteria are for each badge. So you can I like to go on there and try to say, okay, what can I get? What can I get this month? So for me, it's kind of like a little personal mission. I know some people will use it to kind of, it's a nice way to see how to get into the Fedora community too. So that's basically it. So you can search, just do a search real quick. So right off the bat, when you search, you can actually see new badges that come up. So random badges will appear here. You can actually click here, see what kind of badges, well, all the badges are. So we'll just look at mine. So right now I've got 38 badges, and actually as new badges go on, this actually percentage drops. But you can kind of see, so like I said, you can use it as a competitive thing. It's kind of fun. And actually you can click on each badge, and it will say what the badge name is, and it will actually tell you how many people it's been awarded to, what you did to deserve it. And you can also right here go to the criteria, to the track, and it will tell you how to get that badge. So if you're ever like, man, that badge is pretty cool, the description's kind of cryptic, what do I do to get it? You can always go right to the track and see the criteria for it. So I don't have, the badge I had was the vacation badge. Correct me if I'm wrong, it's a panda on a little lounge chair. So I had that. It was at the bottom, so 3B revoked that for me. So we're going to go ahead and actually watch that. So just for the presentation, I'm just going to add some random text to the page. I'm going to delete it afterwards.
But if you read this page, it'll tell you that it's moved. It's no longer based on the page.
It is?
Yeah, back up. And you have to go edit add an entry to the vacation calendar.
Oh, okay. So my mistake. It's been a while since I got the badge. So.
Yeah, it changed.
Okay, so I gotta make a calendar of that. Either way, we're still gonna watch this in real time. Okay, so right there, I added just that I was out of town for a few days. So right in the top line there, we've got that I've added that right in FedMessage. So FedMessage instantly reports that. And if I go to the IRC, should be at the bottom, right there. And right there it says too, I've been awarded the vacation badge. So right there you can actually see both, actually three things. You see the badge awarded, and you see my name moved up in the rank because based on the badges. So right there in real time, you can constantly watch. So it's a nice way too to say, hey, how come I didn't get that badge? You can go back to Fedora, FedMessage and say, you can actually kind of look at the logs, the raw log of what actually happened during that process. So, and now if I go back to my actual page here, I should have a penguin in a lounge chair. Yep, right there. So he is sipping the lemonade. So right there we have a full badge in action. And again, there's tons of badges out there. I'm going to let Marie talk more about all the different types of badges and everything. But I actually wanted to show you guys the technical of how that whole system communicates. And like I said, it monitors Git repos, the wiki, all kinds of stuff. So definitely I encourage everybody to go out there to the badge site, at least look around and say, hey, it's a nice way to find ways to contribute. I found one. I found some stuff with the design team, and how I started with the design team too. So, great way. So I'm going to conclude my presentation and give it to Marie. All right, Marie with the actual badge conception now.
Hi everybody, I'm Marie Nordin. My name is Marie Nordin and I'm an artist, designer, and maker. I'm going to talk to you guys about Fedora badges design and a little bit about my experience with the OPW program. And also inspect.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Is it working? There you go.
So I actually found out about the Outreach Program for Women through social media, and I did a little bit more research, and I found out about the Fedora badge design internship, and I got really excited, and I found out the first part of that application was to make a contribution. So here are my initial contributions, and it looks like some of the badges got messed up, but that's okay. So this was my first step. So I actually got the internship, and with my mentors, we kind of came up with my main goals that I was going to attempt to complete during my internship. So the first thing was to make as many badges as possible. So, and then the second thing was to create a Fedora badges style guide for everybody to use, and so that would be easier for you guys to make badges, for everyone to make badges, and also to give you guys templates and content and everything you would need possibly to put that all together. So during the first part of my internship, about the first 4 weeks, I just made as many badges as possible. And here's a few of those. I really like the badge off badge. It's you get that for developing and contributing code, I guess, to the stack for Fedora badges. So that's pretty cool. As you can see, I really like the pamphlets. The next part of my internship, I started working on the style guide. So here I'm showing you guys a little bit of the process, my process for creating something like this. So I just started with pencil and paper, writing down my ideas, and then I began on the computer trying to gather some of the stuff that I knew I wanted in there. But I could tell it was just kind of scratching the surface. So I decided to create individual pages for each of the things, the components of the style guide. So here's an example of a mock-up for an individual page. So with a lot of work, and actually the badge style guide didn't really get finished until the completion of my internship, but came up with a full complete template, and this is just a few sample pages from the style guide. And then also during my internship, I made all this templates and content available for you guys on the design resources page. So I'll make sure to get that. And then, meanwhile, while I was doing all that too, I created more badges because this is like my favorite part. I love to illustrate. And yeah, I'm really proud of these. I especially like the one I designed for myself for the Outreach Program for Women, the We Can Do It badge. So it's pretty cool. So now I'm going to talk to you guys about using the style guide. So really, I feel like anybody can make a badge with the things that I've supplied for you. So I guess imagine as if you had your badge idea, you were ready to create a badge, you're sitting down to design. So you can use this style guide while you're designing to make sure that you're kind of following the guidelines, and it's just going to help you immensely while you're doing it. So I'm going to go over a few different things. Formatting, I'll go over how to categorize your badge, which is kind of tricky. I'm going to go over the color palettes and the backgrounds and a lot of the do's and don'ts when it comes to designing your badge. Also, I'll mention the characters as well. So this page is super important. This is the anatomy of the badge. All badges should have these elements. So it's going to start with the outer ring, which you guys don't need to worry about because you get those in the templates. But those correspond to the category. And then you're going to have a background color, which corresponds as well, and I'll explain more about that later. And then you're going to have some kind of a background pattern, or maybe you're going to have a specialty background. And then you're going to have graphics on top. So all of those things are crucial elements to a Fedora badge. You shouldn't really have any of them missing. So as far as formatting, the output of a badge is 256 pixels by 256 pixels at 90 dpi. But the templates are provided for you on the design resources page, so you don't have to worry too much about that. A really cool part about designing badges is you can make a series. And it's fun for the users because they can get a whole set, and it generates more content for everybody. It's pretty cool. So the reason you want to kind of think about this when you're first making your badge is because you can come up with a more clever concept. For example, the FOSS account series here. We have a whole life cycle of the frog, and there's unique artwork for each piece. So that's a cool way to do it. And in the voting tester series, they're telling a whole story. So you can really get creative with the series. Okay, I'm going to talk about categorizing your badges. So this is a tricky thing even for me, but there's 6 different categories. We have content and learning, development, community, quality, events, and miscellaneous. A catch-all, of course. So from there, the way that the badges are organized is by background color. So if you're confused about this, you can download the style guide and read more, but I'm going to try to explain. So say you're going to make a wiki badge. You're going to have a blue outer ring, and you're going to have a blue background. So anything that has to do with the wiki badges has a blue background. Now, this whole system was made after a lot of badges were made. So not every badge is right on point with the style guide, but that's something that probably should be changed. We can go back in, change those SVGs, and make it fit into this, because from now on, people are going to be making more and more badges, and we want to continue on with this. So here, for example, is development badges. So if you're going to create a badge about voting, you would use a green background. Same here. If you're going to make a badge for blog, you're going to use a dark blue background. If you're going to make equality, for tagger, you use a blue background. So these are just the ones that have been established. So if, say there was, you wanted to establish a new one, maybe you would let me know, or even download the SVG and add that in, and make the new style guide. So update the style guide. And here's the miscellaneous category. We got an orange background if you're the Fedora project leader, or any badges to do with that. All right. Next thing I'm going to talk about is color palettes you can use, which get me really excited because I'm a painter. So here's a selection of colors from the Fedora, from the official Fedora color palette. And actually, you can just import palettes that I put up on the design resource page right into your Inkscape file. So you don't need to worry about copying these codes, but they're there just in case you need them. This is a special extended color palette for Fedora badges. I came up with this with the help of my mentor, Ms. Mo, because we saw that a lot of other colors were being used, and we kind of wanted to standardize those colors because it could get crazy all over the place. So here is basically a comprehensive kind of a rainbow for you guys to do whatever you want to do, get creative. All right. So just a quick reminder to imagine if you were making your badge right now. We've gone through categories. So we picked our outer ring, we picked our background color, and we've categorized completely. So now we're going to talk about the background, which is the next element of the badge. So here we have patterns. There's a lot of patterns that are pre-established. Use them, you're welcome to. Or you can make your own specialty background, which is, I did that one right there, the Carmen one. Or you can make a completely specialty background, pick up your own design, however you want, or you can just use ones that are already out. I actually uploaded background SVGs just full of backgrounds for you guys to pull in. So we have everything but our graphic elements. So you can take graphic elements from the SVGs that I've posted on the design resource page, or you can create your own. So if you're creating your own, you want to keep some of these things in mind. So when you're designing a Fedora badge, you want to use stroke on most of your things. Some of the Fedora badges don't, and they still look good. And you could do it that way too, but a lot of things will have a stroke. And if you do use a stroke, you want to use 1.5 or more pixels. I like to use 3, but you can see the difference between the top one and the bottom. They're on the left, the bottom, it doesn't have contrast, and if you're viewing it on a small screen, you might not be able to see it. It's not going to pop. So the reason that we're using the stroke is to help make the image pop. There's more on the do's and don'ts about outlines, but you can read more about that later. So you're going to be using typefaces when you're designing your graphic elements. So you want to use Comfortab, which you can get on the Open Font Library. And you want to use strokes and outlines probably also to make that stand off of the background. And of course, create custom characters if you felt like it. I mean, you're welcome to have fun and be creative with the characters as well. So as far as the badge series, you're going to have numbering. So when you do the numbering, it's important to use a dark outline on a light background. As you can see here, I have a dark background, or a dark outline in the back, on a light background on the top. And then I use a light outline on the light background on the bottom. But obviously the top one looks better. You can see it, it pops off the background, and it looks good. So just keep that in mind. You can use speech bubbles and be creative. Like, for example, this one she used a whole world for a 0. So really, it comes down to anything you want to do. You can get creative. You're going to use the Fedora logo. So same goes for the logo usage guidelines for regular Fedora. You don't want to warp or skew or distort it, change the colors, and you're always welcome to get other logos and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different characters and fun features in Fedora badges. And you might be asking, when do I use them? And the answer is whenever you want. Originally, I think there was some question of where we use them. Maybe pandas were for packages, but they've snuck their way into every other badge. So you're welcome to use those whenever. And the same goes for badgers. Of course, if you're making a badge-related badge, definitely use a badger. Right. But they're appropriate in other places as well. I've had a lot of fun using them as little people everywhere. And then there's more characters. So this is just random. So you can really, if you have an idea, just go with it, run with it. If it looks good, then hey, you got it. All right. So you guys all can make badges. So the first step, like I said, download all of the content that I put on the design resources page, and then use the guide, like have it open while you're designing your badge and refer back to it as often as you want or need to. And then you're going to submit your design for approval and feedback. So that's basically 3 simple steps to designing it. For me, I had a great experience with the GNOME Outreach Program for Women. It was really positive for me, and I also enjoyed working with the Fedora design team, and my mentor was great, Ms. Null. I just loved it, and since I finished my internship, I've continued to contribute badges, and I will continue to contribute badges as often as I can. Thank you guys. Here's a bunch of links and stuff for everything I talked about, and a little bit of contact info for myself. I'm ready to talk about badges and design more if you have ideas, so feel free to ask me questions. Are there any?
You mentioned the palettes for Inkscape, and how does that work? I just looked at the page and there's SVGs, but is it like a special thing that you can put into Inkscape?
So all you want to do is, you have your Inkscape file open with your badge template, and you've downloaded the SVG, you go File, Import, and you choose that palette, and it'll pop up right inside your Inkscape. Use an eyedropper to select the color.
What you also can do, you can save in Inkscape as a GPL, which is GIMP palette.
Okay.
Inkscape takes then all in the document existing colors and make a palette from it, and then put it under your home. There is a directory inside the hidden directory in Inkscape, which is called palettes. Put it in there, and with the next start, you will have the palette as palette downstairs.
Any other questions?
Question from IRC was just, where can you get the slides?
Where can I get the slides? I'll put them up somewhere, probably on the design resources page. Why not? put them up right there for you guys. Any other questions?
I may have another one. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay, no, it's all good.
But if there's anybody else, go ahead. So I think this is just this, but just clarify for me. So basically someone asked where are kind of the Inkscape files and templates
Okay,
and...
so go on to,
Is that the very last link there?
yep,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
the last link right there. All
So
good now?
I think that's it
All right,
from
cool.
me.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. We should try to make one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just open it and